skin? Do you have thick skin? Let's all come together.
I am a Bad Bunny fan now. I love Latina. You know, here's the thing about Bad Bunny. If you don't know Bad Bunny's music, then you've never said to your Uber driver, just play whatever you want. That's what Bad Bunny is. And the big guy, the country star, got snubbed. Luke Combs.
Oh, yeah.
And
Honeycombs.
He looks like he ate Brooks and Dunn for lunch and Big and Rich for dessert. I'm looking forward to his next song. The Devil Went Down to Chick-fil-A. He's a big guy. But a lot of number one hits. He's already got more hits than Willie and more tits than Dolly. Luke Combs. And it was a lot of fun. The Snubby Awards. Thank you, Live by Live, for getting me out of the house. I shot it in the rain in a tent in front of 25 people.
You were snubbed by the weather in Los Angeles.
Mother Nature snubbed me. What a life. What a business. But, you know, it was fun to get the roast muscle working again and had some friends help me write it. And that's always the best part is the process. Mm-hmm. You know, I always say enjoy the process. So I when people ask me, who do you want to roast next? They always say, who was your favorite roast? And I always say whoever's next, because I like the process so much.
Yeah. Who is your favorite roast?
You know, it's one of those things. It's like the roast itself, the prep, the roast itself, and then the after party.
Yeah.
If we're talking after party, probably got to go with Pam Anderson. But you know, the process, I remember the Flava Flav roast being a lot of fun. I remember going to like 10 stores to find a hot pink shirt. Couldn't really get that stuff online back then so easy, and I had to go see it and try it on. And I wanted a hot pink shirt for my black suit, and a fedora was when I first started wearing the fedoras, and that was a really fun roast. My opening joke was great. I don't even want to do this roast. How do you embarrass a crackhead who wears a Viking helmet? Flava Flav. Yeah, so that was good. I did do a private roast. I don't want to say too much about it because it's a private thing, but I roasted Eddie Vedder for his birthday.
Yes. To me, that's the ultimate roast. I would love for you to roast Eddie one day.
This one stays private.
Yeah, of course.
Know, out of respect for Eddie, who's a great sport, and his lovely wife, Jill Vedder, put me up to it. And, Eddie's got he's a rock star. So rock stars can be he's an artist.
Yeah.
So our artists are sensitive.
And a front man.
You know,
it's not like you're roasting Jeff Ament.
Yeah. I meant that with love. Ament. I don't know. But I had one good joke I'll share about Eddie Vedder. I said, Eddie Vedder, and he loved this one. He was a great sport. I said, Eddie Vedder, you're a poor man's Bob Dylan and a deaf man's Bruce Springsteen. But shout out to the great one, Eddie Vedder.
I always wanted to star in a all-fat guy Pearl Jam cover band called Pearl Ham.
Pearl, Paul Peanut Butter and Jam. Pearl.
Yeah, I'd be Eddie Cheddar. We'd get Scone Gossard. And
That's funny. Chef Ament.
Yeah, Mike McCready. Oh, Mike.
Of course.
Mike McFeety.
Mike McFeety. How can we forget Mike? Mike's a good guy. All right. It's been real. It's been intense. There's no doubt about it. Some people we won't even be able to mention. There's just so many people just croaking.
Yeah.
Croaking in 2022?
20.
What year is it? 2021? I don't even know what year it is. It's Groundhog Day, folks. I'm in the fucking bunker. We're back in the bunker, the podcast bunker. Trying to make the most of this quarantine. Podcasting on stereo a lot. Podcasting with you, Ed, down here again, which feels good.
So happy, buddy.
It's how we get through life. I always say on this show, life is hard. Let's get through it together. Every day I wake up this year so far and I cringe. Another friend of mine or celebrity that I'm a fan of passes away.
Yeah, it seems like no one's having a good time right now.
Yeah.
Everyone you call has just got some kind of weird tragedy going on.
Yeah. If they're not dying, they're sick or there's someone sick. And it's just, you become numb to it. And I can't help but try to bring humor to my friends' lives. When you were in Reno with your stepbrother, Hector.
Yeah.
I tried to make you guys laugh one night.
That was nice.
And that's what we do when people are sick, like as comedians, or if you're the funny person in your clique, in your household, you have an obligation to try to use that superpower to cheer people up whenever possible. I felt bad. I always loved Larry King. And
you were pretty close.
We were good friends. And
you would go to his birthday party every year.
Yeah, I was at his last birthday party. And I think I made that joke. Happy last birthday, Larry. Yeah, Larry King. You remember Larry King, right? He was the hunchback of CNN. That was a good joke at the Trump roast. I said, Larry King just retired from CNN. He's going to spend the rest of his career trying to open a jar. I think that's where I said that. But I thought Larry was a great guy. I was on his more recent talk show, and I would see him at restaurants, and I would talk to him and his wife about relationship advice because they didn't always do the right thing, but they both had a lot of experience in relationships. And Larry was married 8 times.
To 7 women.
To 7 women and 1 man. No. He married the same woman twice, which is my friend Stewie Stone used to have a joke about that because he did the same thing. He's like, I married a woman, divorced her, and married her again. That's like going to jail, breaking out of jail, and then breaking back into jail. But I know Larry's sons, and they're great guys, and they have a great sense of humor. So to kick off our special morning show, a special Roast and Peace tribute to Larry King.
Larry King, one of the greatest, if not the greatest interviewer of all time, has passed away. He conducted over 50,000 interviews and had many TV shows, the most popular being Larry King Live on CNN.
Which is an oxymoron, by the way.
He had 8 marriages to 7 women and were beloved by his children. Mr. King was 87 when he passed away.
No mention that he interviewed every important person in the entire century.
I said 50,000 interviews. I don't know how you want to...
Kings, presidents.
Everybody.
He was the only iguana ever to host a TV show. 50,000 interviews. Granted, half of those was just him talking to his furniture, but he did it. Anyway, Larry King was 74 years old when he was born. Larry King was so old that when he farted, it sounded like... Larry King was married 8 times to 7 women, so maybe he wasn't that great at listening after all. Larry was in the business so long he told Moses, drop the last name. Larry was so old that when he saw the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, he yelled, Ty! Hey, Ty, I know him. Larry King, rest in peace. I remember one of the roasts, he was taking shots. Everybody was crushing him, really just bashing him, and you could tell it threw him off. Mm-hmm. And he was getting mad, and he complained, and he was like, I didn't know it was going to be like this, and we were really like, it was just too much for him to handle. And then he went on. I think he just forgot how strong his set was, how strong his script was. And he got everyone back. Like, I think he got in that moment that, yeah, we're hard on him so that when he goes up with his rebuttal, it's so justified. It's cathartic for the audience to see the old man smack him back. And he crushed, and he was just walking on water after that. He was so delighted with himself for the rest of the night. Like, he realized how hard he killed and that we really took care of him. And by him taking those hits from everyone else and then going up late and killing, he did a joke about Anderson Cooper. Like, he was untethered from CNN at that point and was really channeling his comedy bug, his old Jew from Florida kind of. I think he's from Chicago, but he made his name in Florida, and he always fancied himself a sort of comedian. He was the president of the dean of the New York Friars Club, and he used to open the shows. And I'd always say, Larry King, great job tonight, or nice try tonight, or Larry King is to comedy what Martin Luther King is to comedy. Yeah. So. Cloris Leachman.
Yeah, man. That's so...
How old was she? 90?
Cloris Leachman was... she was 94.
I loved Cloris. I still love Cloris. I'll always have a crush on Cloris.
You worked with her a lot.
Yeah. We did a movie together. We did a roast together. We did Dancing with the Stars together. I went to her Christmas parties. I went to other parties with her. She'd always try to make out with me. She was frisky. Yep.
It's so funny.
Dancing with the Stars, we had the best rapport. We would always do our photo shoots together. We'd do press together. And my running joke was that her score from the judges was 911 because she was so old. She wasn't even dancing. They just dragged her lifeless body around the dance floor like Weekend at Bernie's the Musical. Cloris. At the last Dancing with the Stars taping, at the after party, she gave me a hug. She really liked me. She knew I had potential. Mm-hmm. And she hugged me and she said, don't become some old fat comedian. No, don't become some old fat comic, is what she said. So wherever you are, I'm sorry, Cloris. The alternative is dying. And I think she meant, like, stay in shape and channel your other pursuits and stuff like that.
Well, she was frisky. I remember her she did a roast not even too long ago that she called you for advice for.
Right. She was roasting Ed Asner and she wanted some jokes, and she was a one of a kind. We did the Wedding Ringer film together, and the director, he just sent me, Jeremy Garlick, he just sent me some iPhone footage that he shot, or one of the extras shot, or someone shot that sent it to him, of me and Cloris in wardrobe, in costume, on stage at a wedding scene. I played a wedding singer in a movie called Wedding Ringer, and Cloris played, a grandmother of the bride, I think, and it's me and Cloris improvising just during takes while they're moving the lights around. You can see Kevin Hart and Kelly Cuoco running lines in the corner, and then in front of 400 extras at a gigantic ballroom wedding in the fanciest possible hotel downtown, all decked out. One of the old hotels. And all my jokes were about how Cloris lost her virginity in room 603, and she was wearing whiteface. That her character had whiteface on. She played this crazy old lady who got burnt, and then so they had all this cream on her all the time. So she had like whiteface through the rest of the movie. And she was just delightful, and she'd always invite me to her Christmas recitals.
Christmas recitals.
Yeah, they would have a big Christmas tree and a piano player, and they would sing songs, and people would take turns telling jokes and singing songs.
Oh, my God. That must have been unbelievable.
Yeah. One year, me and Kai snuck upstairs to check out her Oscar and her Emmys, and gonna miss her, Cloris Leachman. Here we go, Ed. Roast in peace.
Cloris Leachman was at the top of her game her entire career. She has the most Emmy nominations for any actress, 22, and tied for wins with Julia Louis-Dreyfus with 8 wins. She won an Oscar for The Last Picture Show, directed by Peter Bogdanovich. She was also in many iconic films, such as Young Frankenstein, High Anxiety, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Muppet Movie, History of the World Part 1, The Iron Giant, The Wedding Ringer, and on TV she was on Mary Tyler Moore Show, Malcolm in the Middle, A Brand New Life, and of course Dancing with the Stars. She was married to a man named George England, and they had 5 children. And when they were married, they lived next door to Judy Garland. Wow. Just known by everyone for her kindness and her professionalism. She was 94 when she passed away.
Whew. Cloris Leachman. In Young Frankenstein, Cloris played the great Frau Blucher. Oh, all right. Still works. Cloris Leachman was nominated for more Emmys than any other actress in history. What an amazing honor. And she got it the old-fashioned way, fucking her way to the top. I'm kidding. Cloris was the GOAT. She also was the best at what she does. In 1946, she was crowned Miss Chicago. Today, if you want that title, you have to shoot the current Miss Chicago. Cloris always held up other women. In the 60s, her neighbor was Judy Garland, and that's how she got good at holding up other women. I was eliminated before Cloris on Dancing with the Stars. Luckily, she was eliminated first this time.
Oh.
I mean, feels better. It makes me feel a little better. It gives closure.
Her and Mel Brooks movies is perfect. I thought when I saw Young Frankenstein that she legitimately was 80 years old back then.
Right.
Like she one of the greatest just full on like balls to the wall character actresses I've ever seen. History of the World, where she played like the old French lady with the wart on her face. I can't. She's unstoppable. And when you put her next to Madeline Kahn, it was just is the best female comedic performances ever. Right.
And Mel would always he always spoke so well of Cloris. Oh man, what a talent!
Yeah. 94, and like
she won an Oscar in 1971
for a serious role.
Yeah, amazing. All right, well, thanks for all the laughs, Cloris Leachman. Dustin Diamond.
Yeah, he came to my high school once.
Dustin Diamond did?
Yeah. He came and talked to everybody. Everyone was blown away. We were very excited. My middle school, not my high school.
Was it an official or did he just show up?
Yeah. He was just like, "I'm here. Give me $50."
Yeah. Well, Dustin Diamond just passed away this month. How old was he?
He was 44 years old. It was tough.
He was sick.
He had early in January. He went to the doctor, and they're like, "You have stage 4 lung cancer," and he just died 2 weeks later. So crazy how that could just happen to you.
Wow.
I imagine he wasn't taking that great of care of himself, and he was sick for a while, and he finally went to go check it out. Whew.
Sad.
Very sad.
I don't know that much about him. He was sort of a one-hit wonder in the TV business.
Yeah, he kind of, he's one of those child stars that never really broke out of it. It kind of damaged him a little bit, it seemed like. And he was, the butt of all the jokes, and he was a nerd on television, and everyone loved those shows. So I feel like people thought they could pick on him in real life, and it was that kind of stuff. And he was very sensitive, and he wasn't asked back for the Saved by the Bell reunion.
He wasn't.
He was the only one not asked back because he he'd run into trouble he had that knife fight on Boxing Day. In Wisconsin. He went to jail for a year, and then and then he made his own. He directed and started his own porno.
Whoa!
Saved by the Smell.
What?
Yeah, so he kind of went south for a little bit there, but he also was he worked with our buddy Henry Zabrowski on Pretty Faces Going to Hell, and Henry couldn't have nicer things to say about him.
See that?
He's just like a gentleman. He was professional. He did his job. He knew his lines. So it's just, I just feel bad. He got caught up in the wrong thing. And
Did he play himself?
I don't know. I never actually saw the episode.
Right.
But Henry couldn't speak more kindly about him.
Okay. Well, I want to look up that episode now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dustin Diamond. Young guy. Poor guy. Rest in peace.
Dustin Diamond, best known as the iconic character Screech from the 90s television show Saved by the Bell. Dustin, as many child actors do, never really transitioned into the next phase of his career. He played Screech again in other renditions of Saved by the Bell and ended up directing himself in a porno called Saved by the Smell. He ran into some legal trouble and unfortunately passed away this year at 44 years old.
Looks like Dustin Diamond was sent to that big detention hall in the sky. The phrase diamonds are a girl's best friend, that was not referring to Dustin Diamond. Screech is also what I did when I found out Dustin Diamond had passed away. I screeched. Poor guy's going to be buried in a school locker. Don't worry, nerds are like dogs. They all go to heaven. He was a diamond that looked rough. I'd never worked with Dustin Diamond, mostly because I've had a pretty successful career. He stabbed someone in Wisconsin on Boxing Day in 2014. That's why I never go out on Boxing Day. Everyone has their box cutters on them. In 2006, Dustin Diamond directed and starred in his own sex tape, Screech, Saved by the Smell. Sure, we were saved by the smell, but those women that he banged certainly were not. That movie stunk. I didn't see it, but Dustin Diamond, wherever you are, I hope you're in a happier place. Rest in peace.
Man, he made me so happy when I was a kid.
What did he talk about at your school?
I mean, nothing really. I mean, no one cared. They were just yelling, "Screech, Screech, Screech!" But Screech was just such a lovable character. It taught everyone that the nerd can be the cool guy's best friend.
That was ahead of its time.
That's what it was.
Is that what his character was, like the cool guy's best friend?
It was Zach Morris's best friend. And
how's Zach Morris doing?
Mark Paul Gosselaar. I mean, he's Zach Morris again. He's there. There's a new Saved by the Bell reunion. He's playing the same part.
Elizabeth Berkley's in it.
Yeah, everyone's in it except for Lark Voorhees and Screech, because they both didn't really do too well after Saved by the Bell.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Wow. I wonder if they'll dedicate it to Dustin.
They have to. If they don't, they're all monsters.
It's weird because the name Dustin Diamond also sounds like a character's name, right?
Yeah.
But as his real name, he played Screech. Well, when we talk about different type of career than Dustin Diamond. Cicely Tyson.
Oh, man.
Cicely Tyson died. She's like one of the greatest actresses of all time.
Yeah, and a model and just a personality. You know, she stood up for African American women probably more than any other actress I can think of. You know, she's just wonderful. She won BAFTAs. She won a million awards. Everybody wanted her to be her godmother. She was godmother to Lenny Kravitz. She's godmother to Denzel Washington's daughter. All of Tyler Perry's children.
Wow.
You know, she had a crazy, crazy life. She was married twice. Once to Miles Davis.
Huh.
Yeah, they were married. They were engaged, and he was hitting on Betty Davis, who wasn't called Betty Davis back then. But Betty saw Cicely Tyson at Miles Davis's house. And then she was like, once you get rid of her, you could be with me. And they were like engaged, and then Miles did it. And then Miles Davis married Betty Davis. Do you know Betty Davis? Well, she's like the coolest funk mistress of all time. She used to wear like thigh-high boots and short shorts and like use the microphone as a penis. Like, she was very aggressive and way ahead of her time.
Wow.
And a freewheeling person. But she divorced Miles after 1 year. And then years later, him and Cicely ended up getting married at Bill Cosby's house.
Bill. Hey. Time to roast in peace.
All right.
Wherever you are.
Cicely Tyson, prolific actress, model, activist. She was in such films as The Help, Sounder, Bustin' Loose, Fried Green Tomatoes. I love that movie. Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and Alex Cross. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She's in the Television Hall of Fame. She received 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, 4 Black Reel Awards, 1 Screen Actors Guild Award.
No snubbies.
No snubbies. A Tony Award, an Honorary Academy Award, and a Peabody Award. She was engaged to Miles Davis and called it off and actually married him 10 years later. She's the godmother to Lenny Kravitz, the children of Tyler Perry and Denzel Washington's daughter, Katya. She was 96 when she passed away.
Wow. I was going to make a Tyson chicken joke, but she deserves more than that. She has been through enough just being Mike Tyson's mother and everything. Cicely Tyson married Miles Davis at Bill Cosby's house. Between all the jazz and Bill Cosby being around, bet it was a really tough place to take a nap. I heard that party raised the roofie. Cicely Tyson actually helped Miles Davis get over his cocaine addiction. But the heroin she was fine with. Cicely Tyson was a member of Delta Sigma Theta and was a vegetarian, so you know she loved to fuck. Cicely Tyson published her autobiography, Just As I Am, 2 days before she passed away, so you know that everything you need to know is in there. Like 2 days. That never happens. Wow. Cicely Tyson, a legend. Hats off to you, my lady. Rest in peace.
Man. Broadway, everything. She was 96 years. Everyone, I can't believe how old all these people are.
Whenever you saw her in a scene in a movie, you was like, oh, this is a good movie. Like, she wouldn't do it unless it was great.
Except for the Tyler Perry movies, of course.
Which she probably did because...
You know, there's an interesting story about her where she, years ago, like decades ago, decided she was no longer going to play any negative depictions of black people. And, you know, she didn't understand that white people, or like sometimes she was in an interview once and the actor said that I'd never seen anyone like have the portrayal of a father and a son in a black family have such a positive relationship like that. And then at that moment, she realized that from the rest of her career, she was only going to have positive influences on the way black people were perceived on film. And she did it. She was a wonderful human being, and everyone loved her for it.
I banged her. I saw her a few months before quarantine. She said, "Jeffrey, come over here. My final wish is the fucking bald Jew with a 3.5-inch cock."
Well, she was from East Orange, New Jersey, so this does kind of
check. I know, Ed. I ran into her. I know. Love you, Cicely.
Man.
All right, Ed, we have one more before the tribute to your own father.
God.
You going to be okay with this?
I'll see. Hopefully. Right. I think I'm ready. I wrote it, so what the hell else am I going to do?
All right. One more. It's a big actor that we just had to mention on the show. A legend. Christopher Plummer, rest in peace. Did you see a lot of his movies, Ed?
Oh, yeah. I love his movies. He's one of the greatest actors ever. He just always played the rich old guy, you know? At the end. Christopher Plummer, Canadian iconic actor who had a career anyone would dream of. He was the oldest person to ever win an Oscar.
Wow.
For the movie Beginners, Best Supporting Actor, and the oldest person to ever be nominated for All the Money in the World when he played John Paul Getty and replaced Kevin Spacey. He's also known for The Sound of Music, Knives Out, The Last Station, A Beautiful Mind, and countless stage productions of Shakespeare. His daughter is actually famed actress Amanda Plummer. Mm-hmm. He was 91 years old when he passed away.
Wow. The hills are alive, but Christopher Plummer sadly is not. At 82, Christopher Plummer was the oldest person to ever win an Oscar, and being raised a plumber made him capable of dealing with all that bullshit. Plummer was so old and such a great actor that you didn't know where his dramatic pauses stopped and his strokes began. Poor Christopher Plummer. He once said that Jason Robards was his best drinking buddy. Well, here's to them sharing a pint again in hell. I mean, heaven. I mean, there is no afterlife. Christopher Plummer died at 91. Not only could he no longer hear the sound of music, he couldn't even hear a bass drum if he was sleeping in it. Christopher Plummer just looked like money, old money, doubloons old. Christopher Plummer had such a big head that all of his films had to be shot in landscape mode. Anyway, great actors have big heads. That's what they say. So wherever you are, Christopher Plummer, thank you for all the great films, and rest in peace.
Oh, man. What a heavy episode, man.
I know. We never quite did this before. We did, tribute shows, but...
We've had 2 before, I think, is the most we've ever had, but this is crazy.
This is because it's been a very intense month, and a lot of people are going quick. Celebrities are seeing... they saw the Capitol riots and said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm out of here. This year's going to be as bad as last year.
We couldn't even get to everybody. We didn't do Hal Holbrook, Leon Spinks, or Tommy Lasorda.
We'll get to them.
No
No disrespect. It's just they're not as funny as Cicely Tyson and Larry King. I mean, who doesn't love a good Cicely Tyson joke? Ugh. You don't hear enough. Only on this show, folks. Shout out again to Stereo app. Download Stereo app and follow me on there. I go on there a lot. You can make fun of me. Sometimes I take your voicemails, talk to people.
Every Tuesday at 4:20, you can catch out Jeff and Los Digits.
Roasting each other and letting people roast us on Stereo app. Just go to the App Store. It's free. It's something to do. What are you doing? It's something to do. Go to roastmastergeneral.com for all things Jeff Ross.
Pick up your emotional support human T-shirts there.
This is where we get through life. Sometimes it's about big stars that we're fans of, and sometimes it's about us. I don't know how much we're going to talk about Uncle Jerry or your dad on the show.
Yeah. Well, I feel like since I do all the other intros, you should do this intro.
Oh, okay. Fine. All right. Well, when I was a little kid, my Uncle Jerry was the coolest guy I knew, my hero, taught me how to play basketball, taught me dirty songs, made me laugh, turned me on to all kinds of cool stuff. And my dad passed away when I was 19, and Uncle Jerry was there for me and awesome about everything. Even took me, while my dad was like in a coma about to die, he's like, let's go blow off some steam. Took a ride to Atlantic City. Snuck me into a casino.
That sounds about right.
And he lost all his money, borrowed $300 from me, and I never saw him again. Uncle Jerry, you're a legend.
Also checks out.
You're a legend, Uncle Jerry. Ed, I don't know how you're going to do it, but I'm really curious to see what you came up with. Here he is, live on Thick Skin, roasting his father, Ed Larson, Jerry Larson, roast in peace.
I had a very interesting relationship with my dad. He was always gone. He was on he did a lot of business trips, and so I spent a lot of time with my mom. And he was real into me playing sports. But I will say the time we spent together when I was a kid, he was pretty great. He was very funny. He gave me all he wanted was for me to play football. Like that's the only thing he cared about. And I remember one day I was sick and I couldn't go to school, and him and my mom were working. And, there was nothing we could do, and I was way too young to stay home from school alone. So he just went to the West Coast video store, and he rented Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, and Airplane. And he's like, watch these. I'll be home in 6 hours.
Wow.
And I feel like that day he turned me into a comedian instead of a football player.
I love that.
Yeah.
He might have saved your life.
He probably did.
Or ruined it.
I mean, we had a tough time after my parents got divorced when I was 20. You
could have been playing for the Dolphins instead of doing a podcast in my basement.
Oh, well, at least I get to keep my brain this way. But yeah, no, we had a tough time after my parents got divorced. I only saw him a couple times over 15 years. I only saw him like 3 times, talked to him about 10. And that was really tough on me. And then 5 years ago, I thought he was going to pass away. And so we went and made amends. And it was one of the greatest things I ever did in my life. And I remember you flew me out there to make sure I did it. And I really, you and Robin did. And I really, I'll never forget that. And anyone out there who had a dad who did some shitty things, I'll tell you what, making sure that he left this earth on a good note with me, I'm very happy about. So
you had closure.
We have closure, and we're friends again. We, for the past 5 years, we're buddies, and so
more than buddies. You were father and son. When he was sick, you went there.
Yeah,
and when he was really sick, you went there and handled his business, and you just came back from having him cremated.
Yeah, I got a little bit. I got a tiny urn. I'll have to show it to you of his ashes. But I'm sorry. Here we go.
Go to roastmastergeneral.com. You can get some of those
tiny
ashes.
urns. Yeah. So here it is, the roast in peace for my father, Jerome Larson. My dad lost his legs to diabetes, and now that he's gone, I've went from 0.5 parents to 0. Even before my dad passed, I missed him. I aimed too high when we were playing dodgeball.
Oh, man. Because he had no legs. Is that
Yeah, it's because he had no legs. Yeah, thank you. It was the first time I ever saw anyone die. Well, this and the last time I did stand up.
You could have put that one on me. You could have said the last time I went to see Jeff.
Well, in his defense, my dad also was really bad at stand up.
I didn't know he did stand up. Oh, he had no legs. Now I get it. Now I get it. All right.
My dad was born in Newark, went to college in Missouri, lived in Florida, and died in Reno. He just enjoyed living in places that made him look good in comparison.
That'd be the best looking guy in Reno.
I had to go to Reno to settle everything with my dad. That's the difference between Vegas and Reno. You go to Vegas to get married, and you go to Reno to bury your father. I was in Reno for a week settling my father's affairs. Next, I'll go to South America, Miami, and Scores to settle the rest of his affairs.
Yeah, he has some outstanding bills to pay. Is that it?
Oh, Dad, I love you. I'll see you on the other side. Yeah. Roast in peace.
Uncle Jerry, thank you for everything. Roast in peace.
Oh, that felt good. Thanks, buddy. That's what this show's all about.
Great job, man. That was hard.
Yeah. That's what we do here, man. We laugh through the pain, and you keep on trucking.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Keep your head up, folks. Listen to something that makes you happy. I know we're living in a time where it's tough to get a hug, but you can always get a laugh, and they're kind of the same.
Yeah.
They feel good. They're healthy. So do your best to get in front of some comedy. Hopefully we laughed instead of cried today, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, a little Herb Larson here.
Oh, turn it up.
Coming in. This is our grandfather. Dad's dad. Also, if you want to check out my other sad movie, you can check out How America Killed My Mother at howamericakilledmymother.com. We're selling copies of that.
When Ed was folks, when Ed was talking to the doctors about his dad a couple weeks ago, they really had some big decisions to make. And the prognosis was looking, terrible for a while, but every now and then there'd be a sign of hope, and that causes people to question what they're doing and their medical care and whether to bring someone to hospice or try to operate on things. And you know how complicated these things could get. And, Ed was really pushing for information from the doctors. And I said, Ed, I called him. I said, Ed, do they know that about your live stream of How America Killed My Mother last night? And is there any chance they think you might be doing a sequel? We might have these doctors on edge. Which is if they Google you or anything. So I don't know how friendly you're getting with these people, but
we'll see how big the bill is, whether they know if I made that movie or not.
Hopefully they're keeping them in line. You kept them in line, and thank you for sharing all that. And
absolutely.
Thank you, folks, for listening. Appreciate y'all so much. Life is hard, but don't worry. We're getting through it together, and we'll see you again. Taking us out, Ed's grandfather and my grandfather, the Herb Larson Orchestra.